What's up, guys and gals? My name is Splattercat, and we are here at the Nerd Castle today with our weekly indie newcomer, taking a look at Morgopolis Studios' Magicians and Looters. So what is Magicians and Looters? In the first place, Magicians and Looters is a surprisingly good Metroidvania game that I had no idea was even coming until it showed up in my inbox via a review I had published through another medium. And so this game is really cool. I've gotten a chance to spend about 3 to 4 hours with it, about halfway through the main campaign. And it's a game in which you can hot swap in between characters with different abilities, a la, I don't know, I guess it's very much kind of Soldier of Fortune-y, if you ever played that for the Sega Genesis. It's like Mission Impossible for the NES, but if you put that into a Metroidvania package, or if you went through and maybe played something like Lost Vikings, one of Blizzard's old games for the SNES, it's like that, except in a Metroidvania game. You have 3 characters, each with their own distinct abilities, and so some of them will be fighting different bosses and doing certain things. For example, one character has wall jumping, another character has a super high jump and can run up walls, the third character has a little dodge roll thing that she does that allows her to get under low crawl spaces. And so in many ways, the game has a lot of interesting things to be explored, a massive map, tons of treasure and loot to be found, secrets galore. And so I think it's going to be like my pleasure today to bring you through like probably the first 30 minutes of the gameplay. So let's get started because there's a lot to see here. New game, go! And so we have to enter our name. I'm going to be like Snognar. Snognar the Terrible. Snognar Smash. And so we're going to go with a start game, of course. And this is a game that I have strongly considered LPing. High above the lame mortal realm rests the cloud-wreathed towers of the Wizard Keep. It is a place where robes never go out of style and beards are totally awesome. They also have classes for arcane dabblers and aspiring pyromaniacs. Apprentice Vienna has just arrived for her evening course in evocation. Little does she know that the Wizard Keep security has been compromised. I never like it when I'm in a compromising situation. It makes me feel very exposed. Apparently you have to fall in. Like when I go to class, this is my favorite part of going to class, is when you fall off like a 400-foot cliff and then you just land right in front of the front door. And this is Vienna, one of the playable characters. She specializes in not wearing pants or shoes and kicking things in the face and murdering them with martial arts. So she's probably the most agile character. As you can see, everything is firmly firmly ammulated. I don't even know what ammulated is. That's a word that I just made up in the middle of a diatribe, but everything is very nicely animated. Everything runs smoothly. If we press the X button, you kick things and you punch them. You can duck and you can go down low. You can come over. If I hold up and press attack, it does that roundhouse kick. And then A button is going to help us jump. B button is our special ability, which for her is a dodge glide. And the Y button doesn't do anything. Left shoulder should give us a map, but it's not doing it right now. You can also use the right shoulder button to trigger your abilities. It depends if you prefer it or not. Make your life a little bit easier. Left stick obviously controls movement. So let's be on our way, even though it has fallen silent, which is making me feel very weird. Help me. Sorry, dude. I don't have any money. Vienna, it's me, Filson. I sit next to you in enchantment. Oh, hey, Filson. You look like poo. I'm dying. That sucks. I guess I'll leave you alone then. No, wait! You need to warn the Wizard Keep. The Morgmen are attacking. Really? That's awesome. Why didn't you say so in the first place? Gotta go. Hold on, we've been betrayed. You have to warn everyone about the Scree. He's, Uh-oh, I think I ran out of blood. What happens when you run out of... And so as you can see, the game, this runs the entire way through. The humor never dies with this game. Like, so for example, sometimes games start out humorous and then they get serious. This game does not have a serious bone in its body. Throughout the entire game, the characters are more or less cracking jokes and not taking anything seriously. This game is a testament to both sarcasm and self-awareness in RPGs. It's really funny. Press X for violence. Oh, and we dodged the sword. That's what happens when you try and attack me, Morgman. Now, they do have multiple strikes, so if you're looking at the Morgmen right now, with that overhand strike, you can dodge it backwards like so. Other characters can block it, or they can roll out of the way, but those guys do have multiple strikes, one that can be ducked, one that can be dodged, and so there really is kind of variability in your general mobs that you'll be fighting throughout the course of the game. And as you play along, you will be leveling up. It does have all those lovely RPG elements that make these games interesting. You'll be getting loads of new abilities. I mean, by the end of the game, it's basically like learning to play Street Fighter. You'll have like combos and all kinds of crazy stuff you've learned to use that are very efficient. And it appears as though we've got to fall into our class again. It's okay, I've fallen into a couple classes over the last few years. Sometimes it's the best you can muster after a really kind of hard-partied weekend. Falling into class. God. At least you made it there in the first place. That guy looked like he died with his eyes open. You're like, "Arr!" Anytime doors open for me like that, typically the phrase doors are opening for you is a positive thing, but in dungeons, whenever doors open on their own, I always feel tremendously terrified.
Now, can anyone tell me the 3 H's of being a wizard? Vienna, glad to see you made it to class today. I thought I'd heard something outside. Is there a problem?
Nothing big. Keep teaching.
Excellent. As I was saying, does anyone know the 3 H's of wizardry? Vienna?
Don't care.
Hubris, that's right. The first is H for hubris. What about the second H?
Haughtiness.
Correct, Nin, and given the tone of your voice, maybe you're practicing that H a little too much.
Do they ever force wizards to retire for being too old? I was just wondering, because you'd probably know.
Very funny, Nin. Just like your chances of getting a passing grade. The third H is hairiness, by the way. All wizards must grow beards.
A beard?
The hairy thing sticking out of my face. Never seen a beard before?
But you're, Shh! He forgot to glue it on this morning. Don't say anything or he'll spend the rest of the day freaking out.
That's going to be your homework assignment, by the way. I want you all to grow beards. Big, thick ones that I can stroke my fingers through.
I really feel like that qualifies as some sort of harassment.
What was that?
Probably all the Morgmen.
The what?
Yeah, there's a bunch of Morgmen running around. It's kinda cool.
I have to see the Wizard Council immediately. The 3 of you, get out there and see what you can do.
All right, we're gonna wreck these guys.
Vienna, look after your brother. Nin, keep an eye on
Vienna. I can't keep that voice, I can't do that with a straight face. So one thing that I've noticed here is that the game starts you with a random character. The last time I did this little kind of prologue or whatever the hell you want to call it, I was playing as Brent, the guy with the shield over there. So no, I'm gonna keep, is there too much no. We want the abridged mode off because the dialogue is hilarious. We're gonna stick with Vienna at the moment because frankly wearing shoes just takes way too much effort. And so now we get to the platforming. One thing that I would like to point out is that the game is incredibly seamless, and I'm trying to use abilities that I don't have now, I forgot. In my other game, I have all kinds of crazy abilities and stuff that I've gotten used to using. One thing that I will point out first and foremost is that in a game like this, being able to control your character appropriately is really kind of paramount. If the game feels clunky, automatically as a platformer, I wipe it straight off my list. That's what I do with my list. My list is actually kind of a dry erase list. It's part crayon, part dry erase, but I have to wipe things from it. I don't necessarily erase things, I wipe them. But that being said, controls are one of those things that you really, really want in these types of games to be uber tight, to the point where everything responds just the way you want it to, and luckily enough, this game does have that facet of the platformer gameplay knocked down. Other things that are important about game exploration like this is that if you're going to put players on a platforming path, you have to have lots of extra stuff to check out and lots of extra treasures to find. And the game does, oop, there it is right there, I got myself sliced. In any case, the game does have a lot of stuff to explore, and I keep getting dashed up here, unfortunately. I'm ending up kind of fricasseed. There we are. The game does have loads and loads of things to explore, so you're by no means constricted to one beaten path. Meanwhile, at the Wizard Council.
Fellow wizards, I bring terrible news.
Let me guess.
Scree, is that you?
Hundreds of Morgmen are running around all over the keep, and an evil wizard is sitting at the head of the council.
What are you doing here? You're supposed to be dead. I killed you myself.
Apparently, you overestimated your magic. Behind you.
What?
Nothing like a good donkey punch to put your prisoner out. Goodbye, old pal.
Ooh, and a sinister laugh.
You've always got to have a sinister laugh. That's one of the things you have to work on first if you're going to be an evil wizard. You definitely want to laugh in a sinister fashion with some measure of proficiency.
Morgman, back of the head punch. Puchow!
I do like the way that gold coins fall out of your enemies as well. That's another thing that I've talked about this in other playthroughs, but I just simply can't seem to enjoy games where coins don't fall out everywhere. Now this part says secrets are everywhere, and I don't necessarily know if it's like hint hint nudge nudging at me, but you can destroy a lot of walls in this game that'll allow you to get at treasure, so like coins will just fall out of the wall. Basically you kick so much ass that even the walls are terrified of you. I don't think there's anything in there because I spent a lot of time jumping around and trying to find anything in there before, and it just doesn't seem to be working for me. I like how when the coin bags hit the ground too, when you knock the enemy's coin purse off of his body, which sounds completely and totally filthy. I'm gonna kick that guy in the eye. That sounds like the way to open up on a fight. Like, if I went into a situation where there was gonna be an altercation and one of the combatants was like, I'm gonna kick that guy in the eye, I would either think that he was vastly overestimating his chances, or B, that he was just a badass that I really can't even come to terms with. And I do want to kill these eyeballs. They annoy me with their... Oh, he's got his health back. Okay. What about you, sir? Well, maybe I'm just not strong enough to two-shot him. I've gotten used to being able to one-shot and two-shot all this stuff. There it is. We will kick the coins out of his eye, because that's where every responsible monster keeps his coins, in the eye pocket. If you didn't know that your eye has a pocket, you should definitely check that out. And so, it's on to the first boss, which is basically this pillar who has its eye on us. And so now, we get to insert elevator music and just ride our way on up, and our goal will be to punch him right in his ocular region. For some reason, they've installed eyes on their towers. I don't judge. Sometimes you've got to use a little biological accessory when you build yourself a magical edifice. Oh, I fell off. Damn it. Well, luckily the game is a platformer, so I can get back on the horse here, or back on the platform. And we've kicked him in the eye one time. At the bottom right hand of the screen, you can see that the UI has adjusted to show us that the boss has health. That's right, all of the classical symptoms of SNES and NES games are here. I do definitely like that. It helps draw me into the game, and it makes me very, very happy in a weird sort of childlike way. Let's see if we can't get back up here and kick him one... Hey, projectiles, man, projectiles. Let's keep it clean here. Let's keep it clean. It is going to get worse the more we kick him in the eye. As with many things, the more you kick somebody, the worse it's going to become for you. Either with regards to the police, or really, whenever that person wakes up, you're probably going to be on his shit list for at least a couple weeks. I mean, I think there's like a 2-week minimum if somebody kicked me in the eye, where I would just be completely and totally unable to have any kind of reasonable conversation with them. Now with the other eyes, you can kick them every now and again. It'll stop them from firing at you. This is only going to get worse, by the way. I should be clearing out the ads while I do this, but I'm trying to show off the game to all of you. Oh, they can damage the platforms too. I didn't realize that part. Knocked a couple more eyes out. Brings whole new meaning to the phrase, you'll put your eye out. When my mom used to say that, she didn't tell me it was going to be other people's eyes. In fact, I think she was worried about mine, but in this case, it is indeed someone else's eyes, so I've just stopped caring. Other people's eyes? Not really my concern. Oh, that one didn't drop treasure. That's a broke eyeball. Nobody likes a broke eyeball. In any case. Because it could be broke as in it like doesn't have money, or it could be broke like it just doesn't frankly work. If I had an eye that didn't work, I'd be like, why are you riding in my skull then, you freeloader? I'd be kind of upset with him. Oh, and there it is, the final blow. If I can... Oh, it's not going to let me steer. I wanted to steer. But it's doing a badass slow-mo section where we land on the ground in dramatic fashion and then play a theme song. With regards to... Let's talk about some of the other stuff. So I usually cover this in the pros and cons, but... Oh, things are happening. And you three must be Versimos' apprentices. Am I right? Hey, where's Master Versimos? Rotting in the dungeons of Castle Looter. Later, I think a degrepping chamber would be appropriate so he can be thoroughly degrepped. What? That's cruel. What's a degrepping chamber? The three of you have potential, perhaps not in magic, but definitely in malice. Become my disciples. I'll teach you a bunch of high-level attack spells. I'm not so sure about this. I'll pay for your tuition. Sold. I am your loyal apprentice, master. Now we're talking, right, Brent? Do your worst, Scree. We'll never be your minions. Just what I expected. I knew Versimos apprentices could never be bought. That's right. What are you gonna do now, huh? Lock us up in a dungeon? Do your worst, Scree? We'll never be your minions. Okay, I'll admit that it might have not been my best idea ever, but come on, wasn't that a really epic and cool thing to say? You're an idiot. Come on, what are we even worried about? We're wizards, right? We've still got our magic, and we've still got our weapons. They didn't even bother putting us in a spell-warded cell. They didn't put us in a spell-warded cell because we're not wizards. Do you see any of us telewarping out of here, Brent? But hypothetically, if we were wizards and we could telewarp, where would we go? Hypothetically, we'd telewarp to Castle Looter and free Versimos, then we'd come back here and burn the place down. I like that plan. That's a good plan. Alright then, hold on. I'm gonna telewarp us to Castle Looter. Yeah, go ahead, stupid. Cast a telewarp spell. Then I'll go slay a nether dragon while Nin conjures up some milkshakes. Unlike some people, I've actually been practicing my spells. And what do you practice telewarping on? Yourself? Are you kidding me? Even you wouldn't do something that stupid. Wait a second. Last week you told me Captain Cuddles ran away. Oh, the cat. Like I said, I've been practicing. You are so dead, Brent. Hey, wait a second. And so now we get to the meat and potatoes of the game. I don't know who will be playing right now. Stupid Brent, where did he go? Brent? Nin? Guys? Where am I? And so now we've got access to our map, so if I press the right shoulder button, you'll have a feel for where everything's at. We haven't looted anything just yet. I think I'm supposed to go left right here. But let's do a little bit of exploration. These things, you can kick their heads off and take their treasure. I don't feel like that would endear you to the law, so definitely don't try that out in real life. Don't kick someone's head off and then take all their treasure. That's a horrible, horrible plan, and will probably end you up in Pelican Bay and on some kind of special with, like, Werner Herzog or something. Who even knows? I'm gonna try and make my way to the next storyline area without finding any treasure or anything, because I do want to show off the other characters before we go further. That's what a treasure chest looks like, and that's what treasure looks like. And so we've gotten ourselves a brass ring. If we go to our equipment menu, we can just go right here, equip the brass ring, and right there it says that it gives us 20% more health. And so as you can see, our health bar has gone up. Also available for your perusal are the abilities menu, where you can learn all the combos and abilities that you've had. Every character has kind of their own unique thing that they do. You have your level ups menu, which says what each character gets when they level up. Your level ups are kind of current across everybody that plays the game. So if Vienna levels up, Nin will level up at the exact same time, and so will Brent. And they each get their own personal bonuses depending on the way that they play the game. So Brent tends to get more mana because he's kind of like a paladin-y character. He's very much tanky, but at the same time, he also has a lot of mana. There we go. Secrets are everywhere. You can walk through this wall right here to get some more treasure. That's an experience orb, so that's how you level up. We need 2 of them to get to level 2. And it doesn't appear as though I'm going to be able to make that jump to get up there. So let's think about where else we could be going right now. Maybe back over this direction. So there's going to be some trial and error, as I'm really not that great at the game. Oh, that's right, I remember what we have to do right now. I remember, we have to go find Captain Cuddles. So let's go find Captain Cuddles. Now these bigger guys with shields are a little bit more difficult. You can duck that upper strike, but you want to be careful about it because they do have a lower strike. And so right there you can see the emblematic seal of Captain Cuddles. Captain Cuddles! That is correct, Vienna. It is I, your captain. You're okay. And you can talk. That's kind of weird. I am also a keeper of forbidden knowledge. Would you like to learn a super secret special move? Heck yeah, I'd like to learn a super secret special move. Is this really happening, or am I having some kind of psychotic episode? Probably the latter. But now is not the time for practical questions. Prepare for a journey into the metaphysical to unlock your true potential. I couldn't decide what accent I wanted to do there. And we got the high jump. And so, CC? Yes, my dear Vienna? All I learned was how to jump higher. How am I supposed to kill stuff with a high jump? The ability to murder indiscriminately with forbidden martial arts does not occur after just one spiritual journey. Seek me out again, Vienna, and we will continue your lesson. And so he jumps off the stage, and now we can high jump, which is like badass. This is really one of the key mobility moves that you're going to be using for a large portion of the game. Oh, ducked out of the way. What are you going to do, Mao Pal? Kick you right in the head. And so now we can do that, which allows us to jump really, really super high, Dragon Ball Z style. I think I can make the jump up to here, and then there's treasure, as I recall. There it is right there. And so as you can see, there are secrets absolutely everywhere. This is definitely a Toe Jam and Earl type of game where you run around all the time trying to figure out like where the punchable wall is so that you can get extra treasure. And so now that we've leveled up, it'll tell you what the level up stat was for your character that you're playing, but it'll be up to you to go and check that out once you swap characters, which should be very shortly for us. I did want to hit all 3 before we went and did anything else, but maybe I'll load my other save while I do my pros and cons so you can kind of see what everybody does and get a feel for their abilities. Now, I haven't showed off the wall jump for Vienna yet because you don't get it for a really long time, but I really do feel like that's kind of her ultimate ability that I really feel defines her as a character. Whenever you're trying to get around, you probably want to stick with Vienna. Whenever you're trying to go through an area with tons of projectiles, you want Brent. And whenever you're trying to go through an area with lots of enemies, you tend to want to go with Nin. And I think we just wanted to make it to the first camp. So these camps right here are where you can swap your characters out. So let's say that you get to a location where you don't like what's going on and you're not able to like complete an area with the abilities that you have. You go to camp and you swap them out from here. Oh, and that one's not going to work either. Okay, I thought that's where we had to go. Well then, let's be on our way. See if I can make... I bet there's something secret over here. Nope, nothing secret. Alright, well then I'll live with it. Oh, that's right. We've got to go into the under halls. I forgot about this. There's nothing up there either. This looks like it might have something, though. There it is. So we got 100 gold from kicking that wall. And so now we're in the under mountain. And these maps are all seamless. Like, none of these lock off after you complete them. You can go back and explore any of these maps whenever you want. The puzzles will stay solved once you've solved them the first time. But, like, you can run back through and look for treasure. I mean, there is lots and lots of treasure to be found. I know where we need to go right now in order to swap characters. There's another secret right there. Grab ourselves another experience orb and then be on our way. I need to go to that S that's off to our left on the map, and I'll close that down right now because I know it's going to annoy some people. But I tend to just play with it open since I can't keep myself oriented if I don't do so. Alright, so a few more enemies pugilized and we're at the first camp. Hey bro. Vienna? You're not dead? How's that even possible? Morgmen keep dropping food. No, I mean the telewarp. I thought you guys sucked into limbo or something. Nah, I got dropped into a forest. CC was there and he's fine, so you're off the hook for murder. CC? You mean your cat? Yeah, we had a nice talk. He taught me how to jump higher. You're scaring me, sis. Why do you look like you climbed out of a dumpster? Yeah, that. So you remember how I was trying to telewarp us all into the castle looter so that we could save Versimos? Good, you remember. So despite a few miscalculations, the telewarp actually worked. And it probably worked a little too well. I telewarped right into the dungeon. So you were actually in Castle Looter. Did you see Versimos? Why isn't he with you? Hold on, I'm getting to that part. Just tell me how you got out of the dungeon. That was easy. All I had to do was hit the back wall with my sword and pow! Secret passage. And so now we're playing Brent. And then I got lucky because the secret passage led directly behind Versimos' cell. Really? Are you sure? Yeah, I could sort of hear him through the stone. He said something like, "Ooh, I'm totally dying and stuff." So I was like, "Don't worry, Master Versimos, I'll save you." But this wall isn't gonna break like the last one, so I need to find another way to reach him. With Brent, we can use this shield, so our ability if we hold down B is that we can block stuff, which means projectiles are really not a concern to Brent. You're not gonna believe this part. Some dope left a spellbook in a treasure chest and I practically fell on top of it, so once I skimmed through the pages and learned how to conjure fireballs, I lit the enchanted sconce. Whoa, hold on a second, let me get this straight. You found some old spellbook in a secret room, breezed over Eldritch text, and immediately mastered something Versimos couldn't teach you in an entire semester? I'm beginning to think that Versimos isn't very good at his job. And so let's whack that chest. We don't want it to be too happy about it. But we will whack the chest very, very quickly because we're not on the clock right now. He hasn't paid us. And so if we hold down the left trigger and we press the X button, Hadouken! There it is, Hadouken! And we can now turn on these little sconces which open doors. And this becomes a recurring tangent for the remainder of the game. I could really go for some ice cream right now. Chocolate fudge with cherries. Oh yeah, me too, boss, me too. Hey Fred, open the gate. But it'll definitely have to be on a waffle cone. You like waffle cones, Jocko? Hold on a second. That's not Fred. You're right, that's not Fred. Who is that guy? I'm new here. Is that so? Jocko, is this guy a new hire? Only Morgmen on the payroll, boss. I believe you're right, Jocko. Whoever you are, just stay right there until I can murder you to death. Yeah, Fred will be here in a second to open the gate. I see Fred, here he comes. Hey Fred, hurry up. Hold on a second, I don't think we want those gates to be open. Maybe we should rethink this through. Fred? Fred! Wait, no. Are you even paying attention? The gate, Fred, open the gate! And so that's what Fred gets. Ooh, and we can block a lot of this stuff. But we are going to be killed by archers long before we get to that point, so let me murder some archers here. He dropped a pumpkin, just in case we were thinking about celebrating Halloween anytime soon. And so another guy down right there. Can't go through that way. Let's drop down here and we'll check out this gate. Oh. And you do have to duck, just so you know. It's just like a fighting game in that if they strike low, you do have to duck and block it. So if I tried to block high, totally wouldn't count. Which actually adds a lot of variability to some of the fights. Like, some of the fights are very different depending on who you're playing. He fell for it, boss. That he did, Jocko. What a dope. And here I thought we had encountered a master infiltrator or a ninja or something. Hey, dope, I'm bored. Do a trick. Oh, nothing in the treasure chest. You have got to be kidding me. Who put a secret passage there? And so there it is. As I recall, there's a secret ledge right here. That's right. I've played this game a lot. As you can see, I'm kind of remembering like all these little things.
Just a glorified prison shank, really.
There's little quotes that it plays whenever you get new weapons. And so the iron dagger, it says, just a glorified prison shank, really. Some of the other quotes are insanely hilarious, or like pop culture references and things of that nature. You can do a low jump by tapping the A button without holding it down, so you can get like variable height out of your jumps based on how long you hold the button down. Yeah, I knew there was going to be a secret passage right there. There's another orb. You always want to check the back of a secret passage, because sometimes they put a secret passage in a secret passage, which seems like a shady thing to do. But for sure, it's pretty legit and you get extra treasure, and it makes me happy. So anytime I can roll my hands through coins as though I'm Uncle Scrooge, I definitely have no qualms. Open the gate! We could go up there and get more treasure, but I'm going to keep on trucking so that we can mess around with Nin for a little bit before we break off the episode. These things right here are adorable giant pig beasts that kind of want to impale you, so they are adorable, but at the same time they're deadly. Adorable and deadly. I call it the kitty combination. Or at least that's how they like to think of themselves. Now this pig can be used to trigger a secret. Actually, I could just do it myself. Secret? There it is. And we want to go down to the save point that we were at before. Alright, so we've already leveled up twice, which is really pretty badass. Leveling up in this game is a pretty good call, because when you get to certain bosses, it's really going to be kind of like reliant on how much time you've spent exploring. Some of the bosses are only defeatable using methods that really like magic, or certain bosses can only be brought down by certain characters, and so you can always come into like a situation where you feel as though you probably haven't leveled up enough, where you just don't have enough mana to really damage a boss enough, or maybe your fireball doesn't do enough damage. In addition, you will be swapping out loot a lot, because certain pieces of loot will increase the damage that your fireball does, or they'll increase the damage you do with certain attacks, and those certain attacks may be the only thing that hurts a boss, so you definitely want to spend some time swapping out loot if indeed you do get the chance. Not even sure where I'm at right now. I am taking a look at the map, but it's not really being very helpful. I'm not a master cartographer. Guess they want me to go up here then. Ah, there's a campsite. The campsite save your game and give you full health if you didn't have it to begin with. Oh, and this is where it wants Nin. Okay. So then, I think I need to go... I think I missed a... There's a door back here. That's what it is. So let's get back on over there. We'll go through that lower passage. I don't know how I bypassed that without noticing, but apparently I did. Oh. I walked right... It might have been the giant shark nose statue. Anytime there's a place with a shark nose statue, I feel the need to avoid it because something terrible is probably going to happen to me. And so back in the Undermountain, we'll find... And that's when it happened. What happened? I encountered the most terrifying wizard to ever tread across the realm. The infamous fruit magician. Vienna, it was horrible. You have no idea. There was fruit everywhere. I'm pretty sure the only reason I survived was by sheer luck. That and the shield. Nobody seems to understand how useful this thing is. Are you seriously telling me you were attacked with fruit and ran for your life? Pineapple is a fruit. Alright, fine. You're back, you're not dead. You didn't save Versimos, but whatever. At least we know for sure that he's in Castle Looter. Then I guess we get to fight our way back in after we find Nin, of course. Where the heck is she? Hope she's undead or something. I sort of feel responsible for that. Are you kidding me? Nin is fine. This is probably a lot of fun for her. And so now Nin is in the bog that swallows. Where the fuck am I? I mean, I suppose she could have said, where the shit am I? But either case, I feel the need. I don't like those little dots and dashes. You can't censor me, FCC. And so the game is saved. So now we're playing Nin, who dual wields. She's a dual wielding elfie type character. She kind of, well, she dual wields and then she also uses kind of a duelist style. And so while we run around with her, I think I'm going to oh, we found a secret passage already. I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of this game. Justin, Dan, Ryan, Brian, Dan. Dan died twice. Why did Dan die twice? I feel as though Dan kind of got the short end of the stick in this whole thing, unless it's two guys named Dan who didn't have a last name. You got the bracelet. Well, very nice. I hate it when my wrist goes unguarded, so we've now got a bracelet. That eyeball dropped pizza. I don't know why an eyeball would want pizza, but apparently that was like the thing that he had on his mind. It's all good. I think about pizza a lot too. It's an addiction. We're going to get out of here and let's take a look at what the bracelet does. I missed that on my last playthrough. 10% health and 20% mana. That's not bad. And so for pros with this game, everything is smoothly animated. The controls are amazingly tight. Every character does something unique, and each needs to be played in their own specific way. You can't get through the game without playing every single character. It will just not happen. You have to swap, and you have to learn all the different combat styles, and each one plays incredibly differently. So, for example, there's her roll ability right there. That makes her in close quarters combat a total terror because she's immune to all damage while engaged in that roll, which is really, really cool. That's an amazing ability to have. And so if you're in a huge fight situation, Nin tends to be the character that I prefer. If you're in a character situation where there's lots of projectiles, you probably want to go with Brent because he gets a shield that can reflect them after a while. And you see right there, that's why she's pretty good too. Is actually, she's good with projectiles as well. But Brent seems to be a little bit easier just because you can plan things out and you don't have to time any button presses, which is kind of a big problem for me. Other pros is that everything in this game is tailor-made to make you laugh. There are jokes everywhere. The music in the background is often tailor-made to make you just chuckle. For example, as you heard back there with the fruit musician, his Fruit Power theme song, or her fruit music that she plays. I don't want to do any spoilers, but the fruit magician is indeed a female, and she's hilarious. In any case, everything in this game is really kind of master design. This is the sort of game that doesn't come along very often in the Metroidvania like genre. Like usually you see something that's slightly serious. The last game we had that kind of compares to this one that I would say is Rogue Legacy, and even then Rogue Legacy was kind of toying around with some of the more, I'm playing terribly now that I'm talking, but anyways, Rogue Legacy was kind of tapping into some of those old genre tropes of the roguelikes, whereas this game is really kind of more in the realm of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. There's lots to explore, there's lots of treasure to be found, all of it does like different unique things, and will help you transverse the game a little bit more simply. My name is Splattercat. Actually, I didn't do the cons. Never mind, I was going to do my closing arguments, I didn't do the cons. What's wrong with me? So cons to the game, there are one or two bosses that have a pretty steep learning curve, but other than that, that's really the only thing that I've kind of banged my head against, is the bosses are pretty challenging unless you're incredibly coordinated, which I'm not, so that's just one of those things that I have to live with. If, like, anytime the police pull me over and I have to do that thing where you touch your nose and then you also, like, say the alphabet backwards, I am just boned. They think I'm drunk all the time. But the game does have a pretty steep learning curve when it comes to fighting some of the bosses. So things you'll want to think about there is if you get frustrated by trial and error, like you get tired of, I had to do the last boss that I was doing in this game about 10 to 15 times before I really kind of caught on to like what was going on and I knew like his different phases and everything. And so some of the bosses definitely require a little bit of effort. And so if you definitely want to see things handed to you on a platter, this is not going to be the game. There's a lot of challenging circumstances that you'll find. I don't really think that's a con, but for some people it might, so I figured I'd recommend it. The other thing that kind of bums me out is on occasion you'll get to a point where you'll travel a long way and find out you need another character, so you'll have to backtrack and go to camp to get that other character and then redo all the stuff that you've already done aside from the puzzles, so you have to fight your way all the way back and do all the platforming puzzles again. That kind of bugs me. And so every now and again you've got travel time going against you, but the game does do its best to kind of make the situation simpler by giving you warp points, so it's a minor inconvenience that only comes up 2 or 3 times during the course of the playthrough. So that's it. My name is Splattercat. This is Magicians and Looters, which is a very, very cool game. I think you should probably check it out. I think you can get it for $6.99 on Desura right now. I'd have to check the price again because unfortunately I didn't make my little note card before I started here because I'm an unprofessional douchebag. But I think the game is $6 or $7.99. You can get it on Desura. You can also get it through maybe, I don't think you can get it through Good Old Games. I think Desura is the main distribution platform that they're hitting right now. You might be able to get it on IndieDB. I'll put all the links down below so that you'll know for sure. But anyways, the game is very cool. It's by Morgopolis Studios, and you should be playing it right now. I will see you guys in the next episode next Friday. Weekly Indie Newcomer, if you don't know, is a series that I do every Friday, so check in. Take care out there, everybody, and I'll see you in the next episode.